What's up, nerds, and welcome to the Nerd History Podcast, the newest addition to the Love Thy Nerd Podcast Network, at least for a few more days.
Ooh.
I will
We got some other
drop
newbies.
a hint. We got a new podcast joining the fray this Thursday. Jamie Harris from Satellite Gaming will be launching Satellite Stories. This is an interview-style podcast, which we have a couple of those on the network already. But the ones that we have focus on creators and like streamers and things of that nature. This podcast is more focusing on just kind of your average folk who have stories to share about how they have encountered the love of Jesus through video games and other areas of nerd culture. We're starting with there's hundreds and hundreds of kids that have gone through satellite gaming events and programs and things like that. So we'll be starting with their stories, but we'll branch out into some Love Thy Nerd stories and some other ministries as well. But the point of the podcast is really to showcase like small testimonies of the way nerd culture ministry is reaching people in ways that other types of ministry sometimes can't. So it's a fantastic new podcast. I'm very excited for it. They're doing a short season here at the tail end of the spring season for LTN podcasts.
Cool.
Launching this Thursday. Check it out. Satellite Stories with Jamie Harris.
Awesome.
Back to our show. The Nerd History Podcast exists to do what all nerds love the most, dive deep into the nostalgia of nerd culture that made us who we are.
That's right.
Each episode, we will spotlight one particular nerd history event from that week and take a deep dive into the fandom, the lore, the nerdy facts. I'm Radio Matt. I'm the Director of Content and Resources for Love Thy Nerd and the Station Manager for LTN Radio. And with me today and forevermore is my amazing bride, Daedra.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Oh, yeah.
You had a week off.
I did.
John came in and took your job for you.
Did you guys miss me?
I think I was more grateful you weren't here, because if you were here, you'd just be rolling your eyes at everything we were talking about.
What? You act like I don't like wrestling.
You don't like
or something.
wrestling.
No, I hate it.
It's the only thing we don't agree on. We are the Nerd Historians, and today on the show, we're taking a look at the history of a Goofy movie, which celebrates its 29th anniversary this week.
Oy.
Oh, man. So you watched this with the kiddos a couple weeks ago.
I did, yes. Right? I prepared because it had been a few years since I'd seen the Goofy movie. I
remember watching this. I don't think in theaters, but I think I got it like on VHS as soon as it came out.
And then
I watched it a lot.
I
loved it as a kid. I watched Goof Troop a lot.
Oh, see,
on Disney. You didn't get to watch that because you didn't have Disney growing up.
Yeah, we were poor.
But Goof Troop was kind of what established Max, his son, established Pete and his family.
Okay.
Because we had Pete and we had Goofy.
Wow. I thought they were new characters like to the movie.
Oh, no. Goof. Cool. The movie is actually like a sequel to the show. Huh. Which maybe not a lot of people know. But Goof Troop was, I think it had 2 seasons. On Disney Plus, it's just listed as 1 season, but it's 78 episodes.
Holy crap.
So, I don't know. But it wasn't great. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. They started with Goofy and Max lived in like a rundown camper on a lake. And the story starts with Goofy finally gets his high school diploma. Like he was doing like a mail by course, and finally gets his high school diploma, which means he could apply for a job in Spoonerville.
Okay.
And so they pack up immediately and move to Spoonerville. Move in right next door to Pete and his family, which also all his family are new characters to the show. But yeah, so this is set where Max is still a kid. I don't know how old, 10-ish, maybe. Okay. It was voiced by Dana something or other. I didn't write her name down. But this is not about Goof Troop. This is just, so forget her. What did you watch as a kid?
did you watch? I was very sheltered, Now, honestly, for 4 years we were in Germany, right?
Yeah.
And so you did have to pay for something in English.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
So, so we had Cartoon Network. So
I didn't know you had Cartoon Network growing up.
Yeah, I had Cartoon Network.
What did you watch? Fred Flintstone?
Powerpuff Girls.
Yeah.
Dexter.
What?
Yeah.
How did I not know this about
Lots
you?
of
I loved both those shows.
lots of Scooby-Doo. Right? Was it on?
Yeah. It's Hanna-Barbera. It was on.
Okay. Yeah.
I hated Scooby-Doo. I've never enjoyed Scooby-Doo. No version of it has been fun to me.
Maybe that's why our kids, I was just talking to my niece tonight, and she's like, your kids have never seen Scooby-Doo? No, maybe that's why, because Dad doesn't like it.
Dad doesn't like it. Well, no, because it's got, even if it's always, it's
is
old
Mr.
Mr.
Yes.
Billington. Oh, who would have thought it was him?
That guy.
But there's always like spooky stuff at the beginning. And they're like, oh, okay.
Yes.
That's a guy pretending to be a ghost, doing things only ghosts can do. But no, it's fine. It's just a guy in a mask.
But that's like the beauty of it, because
Is it?
It teaches them that those things aren't real. It's just a weird, creepy guy in a mask.
Yeah. I think Five Nights at Freddy's can do that too. And we're not going to let them watch that either. So
yeah, that's what I watched. I
loved me. Dexter's Lab.
Cartoon Network.
Dexter's Lab might have been my favorite show for about a solid year when I was a kid.
I really did like Dexter's Lab. Yeah.
Omelette du fromage.
What's this?
That?
Dee Dee. Okay.
Dee Dee.
See?
Ta-da.
I'm Daedra.
Yeah.
And my nickname was Dee Dee. So, yeah.
I've never called you that, and I never will.
That's good.
That's weird.
It's weird. It's weird when people just like decide to start calling me D. Like, excuse me? I don't go by that.
Did
like,
not give you permission for this whatsoever.
Why am I suddenly nicknamed? You're like, hey, D. You can say the whole name.
Say my name. What did your parents think of the shows that you watched?
I really don't know.
You don't know?
Because, man, my boys know how I hate their shows, right? How do I not know? I don't know.
They must have enjoyed them then.
I guess I
feel like I would have enjoyed it.
Dexter. Yeah.
I'd enjoy it now.
There
if they
were
were
some
watching.
parts of Powerpuff Girls where I was like it was too much for me.
Oh, Joe. I remember they had the devil, and they called him. You remember that?
No.
The weird devil character.
Him.
They never said he was the devil or Satan. They
No,
just
they
called
just
him him.
called him him.
Yeah. Well, yeah. See, that's kind of what I was getting to. Is that we watched normal kid shows. I watched Power Rangers for the most part growing up.
Right.
And I don't know exactly what my mom thought about it, but she didn't hate it because every morning she wanted to watch it with me before school. It would play at 7:00. No, it'd play at 7:00 and 7:30. School started at 8:30. And so we would watch an hour of it every morning together, and it was her idea. She wanted, I was watching it in the other room by myself, and it was her idea to come out and we'd watch it together. And she didn't have a smartphone to play on, so she paid attention to it.
She was actually watching it.
Yeah. So I don't know if she ever liked it or not, but
man,
it was time
days.
Time to spend together.
All they do is watch
nice.
People playing video games and talking to each other.
Seriously, that is what our kids watch. I was overjoyed the other day when they said that they had found a show on Disney Plus they wanted to watch because they had watched it over at their friend's house for the first time. And we watched it, and I was laughing, and it was great. And they watched one episode, and then they're back to Sunday. I wouldn't hate...
That might be my fault because I told them I wanted to pre-watch the Disney show. Disney tends to be a little too drama-y, too dramatic.
It was pretty dramatic, but it was a funny kind of dramatic because there was a puppet that came to life.
Yeah. Okay. I just don't like the whole, we have to keep secrets from our friends for their good. you know.
But it always backfires.
Don't tell my friend this. We're going to tell this little, but it's all about telling little white lies to your friends.
And then they always get in trouble for it. I don't understand what the problem is. It's a life lesson. But the only thing that I don't like is just this. I could stand it if it wasn't for the fact that for some reason, the YouTubers who play more towards children are so loud. They are always at this volume, no matter how sad, mad, happy, whatever they are. They're always just shy of screaming. And I don't understand. It's almost monotone, but just enough not to sound like a normal voice. But it's like they're talking to someone in another room. It doesn't bug them because that's how they talk to each other. Because they can't hear themselves.
Because they can't hear anything else.
But it bugs me.
Oh, goodness.
Have some emotion. Anyway. All that to say. A Goofy movie was such a good movie.
It was.
And something that I watched proudly as a child and watched proudly as an adult. And I wish our kids loved our movies more. It does stand as a... Well, first, I need to say the line. Let's take a trip back to 1995.
Yeah.
A Goofy movie stands as a unique testament to the power of storytelling, animation, and music woven together to create a tapestry that has captured hearts across the generations.
Yes.
So as I said, this kind of launched as Goof Troop. It was an early 90s TV show. It lasted for, like I said, 2 seasons. Most of it was on the Disney Channel. The second half of the second season moved to ABC.
Weird.
Which I think it's because it was dying.
So they were like, go over here now.
They started like hitting... Because this was supposed to be kind of like a sitcom for kids.
Okay.
It was focusing on family life in suburbia, this kind of thing. But they started doing things where like, well, instead of that, how about every third episode, we tell a story about Goofy's relatives in the distant past. Cowboy goofs and cavemen goofs and all this. And I'm like, ugh.
That's weird.
It's like The Simpsons fell into that for a while. Like in the late 20s seasons, it was like every other episode was like, well, let's go back to see what Simpsons would be like in Roman times. Let's see what Simpsons would be like during the Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Treehouse of Horror episodes. This was just bonus episodes of not telling you a new story in the current timeline. And
we don't got anything.
Hate
current.
those.
Yeah.
Hate them. That's when you can tell things need to be changed. But anyway, this did introduce audiences to Max. Setup offered a fresh perspective on Goofy, who at this point had just been a goofy, lanky, klutz kind of character. And he still is, but he's also a dad. Focused on friendship, family, everyday trials of suburban life. Besides Goofy and Max, the show introduced Pete Jr., PJ, Pete's son.
Okay.
And other characters laying the groundwork for the movie. So they leap from the TV series to the feature film, which would allow for a deeper exploration of the relationship between Goofy and his son.
Right, right.
And the sad note is that Goofy had another son.
Oh, dear.
And his name was Goofy Jr., and he was in cartoons as far back as 1951.
Okay.
And then they just retconned him out of existence.
Did he look anything like Max?
He looked like Goofy. I don't know if he looked exactly like Max, but
okay.
Some people try and say, well, yeah, that's Max. No, it's not. Not once has Max ever called Goofy Jr.
No. That's his fear, actually.
He does not want to be Goofy Jr. His name is Maximilian. Maxie? I tried to tell you, Goof.
I started it.
You did it. You gotta keep that boy reined in, I tell you. Deidre,
What?
give us the whole story
I don't like all this yellow.
of a Goofy movie. Let's go.
Puts my lines in yellow. Okay. Plot overview. You ready?
That is not it.
No. I did that to annoy you.
You did well.
A Goofy movie is a animated musical comedy film that centers on the relationship between Goofy, a lovable but clumsy single father, and his teenage son, Max. The story unfolds as Max grapples with typical adolescent issues, including his desire to impress his crush, Roxanne, and
Roxanne!
and his efforts to assert his independence. Are we going to have to, are you allowed to sing that?
That much, yeah.
The plot kicks off with Max's plan to impress Roxanne going awry, leading to Goofy's concern that... Oh, I thought I said something wrong. Leading to Goofy's concern that he's losing his connection with the son. In an attempt to mend their relationship and steer Max back on the right path, Goofy decides to take him on a cross-country fishing trip. However, Max has other plans and secretly alters the trip's route to lead them to a concert in Los Angeles, where he hopes to achieve his dream of performing on stage to impress Roxanne.
Da-na-na.
Da-da-da.
Conflict.
Throughout the journey, Goofy and Max encounter various mishaps and adventures that bring them closer together despite the initial deception. The film explores themes of father-son bonding, the challenges of growing up, and the importance of honesty and communication in relationships. It's celebrated for its heartfelt story, memorable music, and the comedic and touching moments that highlight the dynamics of family relationships. Dramatics.
Family dramatics.
Dynamics.
That is the plot
Yeah.
of the movie.
Uh-huh.
The heart of the movie lies in miscommunications and the eventual understanding between father and son, highlighting themes of adolescence, parental concern, and the journey towards mutual respect.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bill Farmer is the main voice of Goofy, has been for years, still is to this day.
Cool.
Jason Marsden, gosh, I can never say his name right. Jason Marsden took on the voice of Max for the movie. As I said, it was a female doing the voice of Little Max in the Goof Troop. Mm-hmm. James Marsden took over. You would recognize him if you saw him. If you don't recognize the name,
Look it up and then you'll see him.
He was in a lot of things as a person. Not a voice, but like an actor.
He's a real person, guys.
I remember first seeing him in Boy Meets World in just a couple episodes. He was in the first season for sure, maybe the second season as well, as the older brother's best friend every now and then in the show.
Okay.
Eric's best friend.
Okay. I do remember there was the friend.
Yeah.
But was there several, or was it just that one guy?
Well, he was the main best friend at first.
Uh-huh.
He voiceovers a lot of things. VOs. He's a VO actor. But he's also in things. He was in The Shift that Angel Studios put out very briefly.
Okay.
He was a guy that was sneaking an apple to the main character and griping at him about it.
See, now I gotta go watch that again.
I gotta watch it and see.
Cool.
Anyway, fun fact before we move on. No one knows anything about Goofy's wife, Max's mom.
Oh.
Never explored. No story. Nothing.
No story, never, ever.
Never nothing. Never not once.
Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
There's a lot of theories.
Does Pete have a wife?
Oh, yeah. Wacky hair.
Okay.
She is introduced as a very kind of hyperactive, very sweet, very soft-spoken, but also very excitable kind of person who immediately switches to yell at her daughter who's playing with worms. I told you to stop! Watch your hand! It was very funny and shocking with the first episode of Goof Troop. Go watch it. It's great.
I feel like I connect with her as a mother.
Wow. Yeah. That's a real parent right there. I'm just now putting that together. Ooh. Anyway. Yes.
Cool.
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
So
But no mom. All right.
So the movie came out. Early criticism of the movie was that, yeah, okay, whatever. A goofy movie. That's exactly what it is. Critics often compared it unfavorably to other Disney films in the era. The box office was modest. It wasn't a hit. It did not reach the height of Disney's normal blockbuster animations during the time. However, over the years, a Goofy movie found its audience resonating deeply with those who grew up in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Its authentic portrayal of teenage angst and parent-child relationships, combined with a very memorable soundtrack, helped it achieve a beloved status. I would dare say this is one of the best representations of a struggle between father and son trying to coexist.
Right. We just want to love you. And then like just...
You don't understand me, Dad.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I gotta be me. What's important to you is not important to me, okay?
And you learn that to hold them, to have them, you have to let them go. Yes.
Just a little bit. Key factors in its cult popularity, the nostalgia factor, of course, the relatability, as I just said, and the enduring appeal of its music. Okay? This movie screams 90s.
It does.
Much more than any other project.
Plus it's got Pauly Shore.
Shore. Leaning Tower of Cheesa. Buddy. So the soundtrack features vibrant pop and R&B tunes, perfectly encapsulating the movie spirit. Mm-hmm. The specific ones are from the character Powerline, which is voiced by Tevin Campbell, who sings Stand Out.
Stand Out. Yeah.
And then, in my opinion, the much better Eye to Eye, which is the big finale song.
Okay.
Seeing things eye to eye. They have transcended the film. They have become iconic on their own. They are on TikTok to this day as sounds that people use for their TikToks. There is even a TikTok artist who has a full Powerline costume, and he will go do dance routines in public with the song blasting. No, and it's fantastic.
You have to show me that.
I will try and find it tonight. It is great. But yes, it's very good. What is, before we get into sequels and stuff, what is your favorite part of the movie?
Wow. The favorite?
I can tell you what my least favorite part is.
What?
That weird swamp rat food joint that they go to.
Oh,
with the animatronic band.
How uncomfortable. The possums.
The possums, that's what
possums.
it is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I hated that scene. Still hate it. Not enough to stop watching the movie, but I'm just like,
I will say, I can remember. So we must have watched this movie growing up a lot, because I can remember like a bunch of inside jokes that we would say from the movie, like the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Cheese.
And then the little...
Oh, right. The little finger thing, little finger dance. Up and down, up and down. I forgot about that.
Yeah. I remember liking that scene a lot with the Bigfoot guy. I don't know why. Probably
right,
because
yeah.
he was dancing
with
the
headphones on.
And that was like, so funny.
Scene that touched me the most.
Uh-huh.
Which is about the same scene there. Hi, Dad soup.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
When he puts it in the cup and he gives it to his dad like it's trash, and then he goes to sleep and he looks down and it says "Hi, Dad" in it. That got me as a kid. before I could even comprehend the emotions of it, they wove the soundtrack to that so well that it made me emotional as a child. And that's how I knew they were manipulative. They knew what they were doing.
I thought you were going to say that I'm an empathetic person.
Oh, that too, yeah. But no, my favorite scene is actually the very beginning. The first it's like the first 15 minutes of the movie, which are the first two songs.
Like in the high school with
I love
him.
The song where the whole scene where they're going to school as the last day of school after today. After today, our brains will be Susan.
Oh, yeah.
Shooting jock straps across the thing at each other. No more Jim, no more Jim. I love that. And then getting into the prank, or it's not a prank, I guess, but the performance thing that they put on where he's dressed as Powerline and he's singing Stand Out and flying all over the auditorium. That was really cool. I love those two. That whole 15, 20 minutes is my favorite. Yeah.
That's really good.
It's fun. So this movie was in 1995. In 2000, they came out with the new movie. An extremely goofy movie.
Did we watch it?
I have seen it. I don't know if you've seen it.
I don't know.
I've seen it. This is the next time that we saw Max and Goofy. Actually, no, I take that back. We saw them one more time in between this. In 1999, we saw Max and Goofy again in Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas, which was a collection of Christmas shorts. But this was obviously set before a Goofy movie because Max is still a kid.
Right.
Who's struggling believing in Santa.
Right.
So they're hosting neighbors over for Christmas and all this kind of stuff. But that was before a Goofy movie, even though it came out later. But released in 2000, there was a direct-to-video sequel, an extremely goofy movie, which explores Max's college life, with Goofy not far behind, leading to new adventures and challenges. It delves deeper into the themes of growing up and letting go and enduring the enduring nature of parental love. I think Max is trying out for the X Games during this thing. And so, like, that's the big plot pusher-upper. I don't remember if Goofy... It's been a while since I watched it. I don't remember if Goofy just moved to where Max was to be close to him, or if Goofy was actually going to college, too. Because, like I said, he got his high school degree. Or high school diploma, rather, at the beginning of Goof Troop.
Right.
I think that might have been it.
He followed him to college.
I think.
You're going to college? You know, I need to do college.
I never done it. You know, I've never gone to college, Maxie. We can share a dorm.
Oh, gosh.
Cramping my style, Dad. It did not capture the same level of acclaim as its predecessor. The sequel added depth to the Goofy universe, explored the progression of Goofy and Max's relationship a little bit more. But the biggest glaring factor that everybody hated.
What?
No Roxanne.
What?
He goes through that whole thing to get Roxanne to notice him. And they get together, boyfriend, girlfriend, at the end of the Goofy movie. Not even a mention, not even a name drop of Roxanne in this movie. Which, sure, I get it. A lot of people don't marry the person that they dated in middle school.
But some people
do.
Okay.
Like us. Okay?
Okay.
18 years and counting, married.
Is that how long it's been?
Because we got married right out of high school. She was barely 13, and I was 15 when we started dating.
I've been married to you half my life. Wow.
Maybe you'll die married to me, too. Okay. All of your death will be married as well. Why'd
you bring death into it? It's like so weird.
I'm just trying to drive home the fact that you're stuck with me. There's nothing you can do.
I'm pretty sure it's till death do we part. I mean, I think that's the part where
I scratched that part out of the vows. Till and after death.
And after.
Now and forevermore.
Oh, goodness.
In perpetuity. So let's pull some themes out of the movie.
Okay.
We've got forgiveness and reconciliation. One of the
Womance.
One of the key scenes in the movie was when I think it was Pete that had discovered it and told Goofy to check the map. Or maybe he just told Goofy to check the map.
He's just, like the whole beginning of the movie, he's like, you gotta rein him in. You gotta,
Yeah, that's the...
Can't trust him.
Told you, Goof.
Yeah.
But he had trusted him to be the person in charge of the map for the drive, his son. And his son changed the course to go to that Powerline concert instead. But Goofy also knew roughly where he was going. And it got to the point where they're on the highway and they got to exit left or right.
Split it.
And Goofy knows he's got to go one direction. But he's asking Max to tell him which way. Which way, son? Which way are we going to go, Maxie? And Max he panics. He starts to...
He has the internal
hesitate.
struggle.
Yeah. Should I do
Not
this?
like he's like left, Dad.
But he does eventually at the last minute scream left. And then Goofy goes left and then almost immediately parks on the side of the road and gets out and he's furious. And it got to the point where they had to...
Duke it out?
Hash it out. Hash it out.
I got something to hash out with you. No, I'm just kidding.
Patience and understanding. Goofy had to have more of a patient, loving approach to parenting. Honestly, as an adult, as a dad now who has a kid who just turned 10, and we're heading into those years, they're about to be here. I'm nervous about this kind of stuff. I'm nervous about it, especially like the lying thing, because Eli will just lie for no reason just because it's convenient. I caught him this very morning. We have a camera in the living room set up because every now and then I'm working in here and my daughter's in there eating, and so I like to have a camera set so I can make sure she's fine. I had it turned on because the boys are usually up early and they come and they get their Kindles and they get to play for a little bit. And they hadn't gotten up. It had been like an hour later. So I turned my camera on to see when they got up. And I see my son like run into the bathroom and run out. And the rule is you got to go brush your teeth. And we got the 2-minute timer toothbrushes. You got to go brush your teeth before you can come get your stuff. He did not do that. He ran in, came to get his stuff. I said, "Did you brush your teeth?" "Yeah." And then I pointed at the camera. I'm like, "No, you didn't." He's all, "Since when do you have a camera on us in the morning?"
How dare you?
I am betrayed.
Boy.
He's like, "Oops. Well, I guess I didn't."
Yeah, you know what? I was driving home from church on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Was that just last? Holy crap.
That was yesterday.
That was yesterday. Okay,
From where we're recording this. Yeah.
And Eli starts telling me about how they saw a drunk man at NASCAR. I'm like, with 2 cops around him. And so we start talking about alcohol and, how I hope he doesn't, get it. Because he's like, "Well, what makes you do that? You guys don't drink beer." Because there was all those NASCAR cars with beer,
I'm sure there's a lot of beer.
Lots of beer in NASCAR, I'm sure. So I'm like, okay, cool. Y'all got exposed to large amounts of alcohol at NASCAR with your grandpa. Cool. So, I got to have that unexpected talk with him.
So, there's a lot of stuff we're going to have to deal with.
Please come talk to me if your friends tell you to do stuff. I know you're not going to want to, but please.
Unconditional love is a thing that is touched on here as well. Yeah. There's nothing that Max does that Goofy doesn't still love him through. The hard things, which is good. Which is something that all parents should have. An unconditional love for their children. Not always the case, which is sad. But we're not going to delve into that. wisdom, guidance. Goofy's role as a father, seeking to guide his son. That's something that also we all strive to do well, and we're never going to be good at it. No parent's ever going to be good at it.
Right.
You should still try.
You're going to fail, but try anyway.
But as goofy as the movie is, it does provide a canvas for exploring those deeper emotional and even spiritual themes. It's much more than just a goofy comedy film.
Goofy movie.
A goofy movie. It's a very touching movie, too.
Yeah.
Surprisingly so. But the other thing, which we kind of touched on, the music. How good is this music? I have seen soundtracks and songs, and these are musical movies, all those Disney animated movies from the 90s, and they are all corny as heck today. These songs still hit. They are still so good.
Yeah. Yeah. They're real good music.
How did they do it? How did they pull that out for a goofy movie?
Right.
So good, so funny, so memorable. Really good stuff. So we did, speaking of the music, we did ask LTN. We went to the LTN Discord and asked, what was your favorite song on the, there we go, on the soundtrack, with the main ones, the songs with words are the only ones that we put on there.
Okay.
Stand Out. After Today, so those are the first two. After Today, Stand Out, On the Open Road.
Oh, yeah.
We'll find it on the open road.
And like all the cars are passing, and they all sing.
And they're all singing along.
Yeah.
Nobody Else But You, which was the dad and son reconciliation song.
Oh, yeah.
While they're sitting on the top of their car as it floats down the river.
I just had the image of like their toes. Like the little fish getting on their toes.
Yeah. Nobody else but you. And then Eye to Eye, Powerline concert finale song. So what do you think was voted the number one song by LTN Discord?
I'm going to say After Today.
No.
Okay. You asked.
Clearly, it's going to be one of the two Powerline songs.
The last one.
No, come on. Stand Out. Stand Out. Got 37.5% of the vote.
Okay.
And then the other one, Eye to Eye, the last one, got 33 and a third of the
close.
vote. Yeah,
That's close.
After Today was the first non-Powerline song at 12.5% of the vote. And then the last two were tied with 8 and a third percent of the vote, which On the Open Road, Nobody Else But You. But Powerline, man. Powerline. Everybody
Who
knows.
would pick On the Open Road?
It's Powerline.
Favorite. It's just weird.
So I'm going to read this because I didn't change it. What do you think of a Goofy movie? Did you watch it as a kid? Have you watched it as an adult? Do you love it? If you don't love it, why are you a terrible person? We want to know. Tell us on the socials at Nerd History LTN. Subscribe to the Nerd History Podcast via the Love Thy Nerd YouTube channel or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. And find us on lovethynerd.com/nerdhistorypod.
And we also have our daily Today in Nerd History short and article that comes out every day at lovethynerd.com/nerdhistory with photos and nerdy facts.
Golly.
Forget it every time. Did you do that with John?
I did.
Ah!
And it got him. It got him good. He's like, I was like, did you hear that? He's like, no.
No.
What are you talking about?
That's awesome.
That sound means it's time to take a look into the nerd future. What's next for Goofy? What is the future of the Goof Troop franchise?
I want Goofy to find a wife. Sorry.
Could we stand? Could we stand whoever was wacky enough to marry Goofy? The movie has maintained a significant presence in pop culture. Celebrated through merchandise, fan events, social media. Its themes of love, growth, understanding continue to resonate with people. Mm-hmm. And like we said, people like us are really digging the nostalgia factor. Its cross-generational allure is a testament to its quality, appealing both to those who saw it as children and their children. And frankly, it's been making some big moves in the last couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
First of all, it was added to Disney Plus a couple of years ago and also released on Blu-ray for the first time. And with these two releases, it is actually the first time the widescreen format of the movie was released in America.
Ooh.
Every other release was reformatted for older TVs.
What did I watch it on recently?
You watched it on Disney Plus.
How did I not realize it was this way?
Because all things are that way nowadays.
I don't know.
Why would you? I feel like you'd notice it if it was not that way.
That's true.
Not the other way around.
That's true. Whatever.
It did release, I think, in widescreen form in the UK.
Okay.
And so if you wanted it widescreen back then, you had to order it from England. And there was no internet. Or there was barely
So
internet.
good luck.
There was no Amazon. Let's put it that way.
Did they all talk like this?
Oh, no. I tried to tell you, Goof. You proud of me for that? That was pretty good, wasn't it? At last year's D23 event, the big Disney yearly fan expo, they held a special Goofy movie event for the D23 Gold members in the El Capitan Theater in Hollywood. And it was packed.
Really?
They watched the movie. They watched live musical performances. They had Goofy and Max costume dancers up there. They had special concessions and merch, including a package of Powerline candy, which I would have been all about. It is arguably the most popular it's ever been. At least since the late 90s. So while there are no new plans for a new movie, if there was ever a time to add to the story, it would be now.
It would be now.
So what would that story be?
It better include Roxanne.
I got some bad news for you, Datra.
Oh, no.
It won't. And here's why. If you've seen Mickey's Twice Upon a Christmas, that came out in 2004.
Okay, I have.
You'll know that they continued the story of Goofy and Max. Max, now a young adult, was bringing home a girlfriend for Christmas.
Oh, yeah.
Her name was Mona. And Max was concerned that Goofy was going to embarrass him. The song Max sings implies that meeting his father is the last hurdle that he fears in this relationship, but that he wants to marry this girl.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, say they announce a sequel movie today, coming 2025. What do you want to see in that preview? You want to see Max and Mona married with a couple of kids? Teenage son, maybe? Young daughter? Maybe the son is a goofball nerd? And Max is struggling to connect with him, but in the opposite way as in a Goofy movie?
That'd be cool.
Wanting him to be more normal like Max was? They all visit Goofy, Grandpa Goof. And Max relearns accepting goofiness in his life.
Is that what you want?
Fantastic. It sounds great, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound like an instant classic?
Oh.
Grandpa Goof, meanwhile, is having like a side story with the little daughter.
Aw, that'd be cute.
Granddaughter. I think that would be a fantastic movie. Disney, hit me up. I've got it. I've cracked the code.
That's all you got, right? So,
that's all you need.
Okay.
It's 90 minutes. What else do you need?
No, I'm saying it's not like you got a script or anything. You
we'll put
here's the idea.
A trip to Possum Pizza back in there. It's now a nationwide phenomenon since the first movie. And it's not creepy at all.
No.
Those animatronic possum bands.
What
Is there
was
anything
weird
you'd like in the movie?
was like something happens. They're outside the restaurant at that possum place. Like,
Yeah.
oh, his dad like makes him dance or something, and he's like, "Stop it!" And then like everyone is laughing at them,
That's right.
and he's embarrassed.
Yeah.
But it was like they were all clearly supposed to be like Hicktown kind of people. So that was
offensive,
weird.
Deidre.
It was the 90's, Matthew. I thought that was the vibe they were giving off. I didn't
Hick
write
vibe.
it. Okay.
Oh man. Quickly before we head out, we want to let you know that the Nerd History Podcast is now also streaming on the GLU Network, which is a streaming platform available on Roku, Apple TV, other smart TVs, as well as iPhone and some Android apps. I think it's only like the newer phones that can get it, because I can't, which bugs me.
Oh, how new a phone then?
We're 2 years behind at this point.
Got my phone.
But GLU exists to unlock the inspirational value of faith-centric programming, partnering with Christian content creators like Love Thy Nerd and the Nerd History Podcast. LTN is proud to join our friends God Squad Church and Susie Live with Unity Gaming as the first group of nerd culture channels on this network, on this platform. You can download the GLU Network. Again, that's GLU Network app today, and just search for Love Thy Nerd. We're excited to partner with them, and we keep it updated with most of our content. So you can see all of our cool shows, all of the other podcasts, including the upcoming brand new podcast that we talked about at the top of the show, Satellite Stories with Jamie Harris. It's going to be great. Next week, no new episode, because frankly, it's WrestleMania week and I'm going to be worn out. For those of you who aren't into wrestling, WrestleMania week is a 2-night event, but it's also a 4-night event because there's SmackDown on Friday night, followed by the Hall of Fame ceremony for that year. Then on Saturday, NXT Stand and Deliver starts at like noon. And then after that, they have the WrestleMania pre-show and the first night of WrestleMania. Then on Sunday, the second night of WrestleMania. Then on Monday, it's the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania, which is always the wildest Raw of the year. So it is 4 solid days. And that's just the WWE stuff. All the other promotions are putting together stuff for that weekend too, because it's the biggest weekend in wrestling.
Wow.
So I'm not doing a show.
All right.
Next week. You can suck it up and you can do 2 things, okay? Nothing and like it.
Is that a wrestle thing?
No.
Okay. I thought that was like someone's.
It's someone's something, but I don't think it was from wrestling.
I was like,
but we will be back in 2 weeks to talk about a show that defined the 90s in a much similar way and is
More
still
90s.
going strong today.
More 90s.
Once again, I'm Radio Matt.
And I'm Deidre.
And remember, in the past, the present, and the future,
Jesus loves you, nerds.